everyone, Cherise here, back again with a new monthly plan with me video. Today we are setting up my October 2024 bullet journal. But first, I'd like to give a huge shout out to our friends over Hubman and Chopgirl for sponsoring today's video. And I want to share with you the cutest journaling box set I recently received from them, the Coffee Lovers collection. If you love cute coffee-themed stationery, this is perfect for you. To give you a quick information about them, they are a stationery business based in Toronto, Canada. They have a large selection of planner kits, sticker sheets, Hobonichi kits, and more. So here I'm showing all the things included inside this specific box. All of these cute illustrations are designed by Chopgirl herself. There is a set of 2 coasters, a cappuccino enamel pin, 4 washi tapes, 5 die-cut stickers, a variety sticker pack, 5 planner stickers, 3 sticker sheets, planner kit set of 6, and a Coffee Lovers dot grid journal. This has a vegan leather cover with 115 GSM cream paper and 160 dot grid pages, pen loop, 2 color bookmark ribbons, and a back pocket. It's almost that time of the year again, so this would be a perfect gift for your friend or for yourself, and it will make planning quick and easy, allowing you to create cute spreads in minutes. If this is your vibe, Hubman and Chopgirl is so kind to offer 15% off on your first order using my code Cherise15. So go ahead and visit their website through the link provided in the description box below. I can't wait to show you how I use some of the planner stickers later as we work on this monthly setup. And again, thank you so much Hubman and Chopgirl for supporting my channel. Okay, let's jump right into my October 2024 bullet journal setup. So if you're planning along, grab your notebooks or hang out with me with a cup of coffee or tea maybe, and hopefully increase your inspiration and creativity. I will be using watercolors for my paintings as usual, and a number 6 round brush and a detail brush. All of these supplies are listed below on the video description, so feel free to check them out. But you can always use whatever coloring medium you like to draw or paint the illustrations. First things first, let's make some colors that I like to use. It is great to have some color palette ready before you start painting, but you can also build them as you go through the process. The first set of colors I picked for this painting are a mix of white, raw sienna, and raw umber, viridian, Van Dyke brown, and sap green, burnt sienna, and a bit of gamboge or light yellow to brighten it a little, yellow ochre, and orange. Now we want to clip the corners of our page to keep it flat and not wrinkly. Then we can start our painting. My theme for this month is bakery, so we are going to paint a storefront of an artisan bakery using the colors we just mixed. I decided to go with something that has 2 levels. The upper part has this shape that kind of resembles a stone oven, so we paint that using our white, raw sienna, and raw umber mixture. And the lower part using our viridian, Van Dyke brown, and sap green mix. The colors, especially the shade of green, actually has like a Christmas vibes already. Here in the Philippines, Christmas has already begun. We celebrate all throughout the Burr months. When September starts, you can already hear Christmas songs everywhere. You can hear Mariah Carey and our very own Filipino music artist, Jose Marichan. He is popularly dubbed as the king of Christmas carols. If you have been here in the Philippines, or if you are planning to come here from September to December, yes, we are early. Anyway, that is not actually related to what we're painting here, but we are supposed to do this step first, painting some flowering shrubs. if that's the right term for it. But yeah, we are using yellow and reddish orange for the flowers and olive green for the leaves. To make the flowers pop more, we are adding a little Van Dyke brown to our olive green to darken the color, and we apply this around the edges of the flowers. And then we are adding the center of the flowers using burnt sienna. We are also painting two smaller bushes below using the same color and steps, and paint baskets that hold them using burnt sienna and burnt umber. Beside one of the baskets is a board signage using yellow ochre and black. Like I said, we're supposed to do this in the get-go because these elements are on the front and we won't be able to paint on top of the structure of the store since watercolors are transparent and they won't appear like this. Unless the elements are not like flowers and leaves where there are different, natural textures. You can skip those areas, or if they are to be painted with dark colors. Also, using a different kind of paint that is opaque like gouache or acrylic would work as well if you plan to paint the background first. When we are done with these, we can go back to the structure again to paint the next layers to add some depth and detail. We are still using the same colors, but this time we are adding more pigment on our mix so the shade becomes darker. We use this to paint the edges and shadows where it is needed with our detail brush. So this upper level has a stone or brick-like texture, and we're going to paint the brick design around the small door using our detail brush. There is also a chimney on the side of the curve using the same colors. And when that's done, we are painting this little green arch window and the base under the shrubs using gray color. Next, we continue onto the lower part. We are painting the top rectangular signage using yellow ochre and add the darker green lines and shadows on the walls. As you can see, the exterior has two large arched windows. The other one on the left has a small glass covered display. Ooh, we also want to paint a vintage lantern here using black and light yellow. Then we can now paint the inside where there are lots of breads and shelves. We are using burnt sienna with a little yellow to paint these tiny random shapes for the breads. We don't really need to make them super realistic, but just mimicking the shapes of different kinds of breads like loaf breads, sourdoughs, baguettes. These are fine. Trust me, it will still look like a bakery. We are using light brown to paint a couple menu boards on the center and the shelves. Then we can paint the wall behind, which is also the remaining white spaces here using burnt sienna. And to separate the background or the wall from the breads on the front, we are using a pigmented Van Dyke brown. Make sure we also paint in between each bread so they pop a bit more nicely. The dried result of the layer I did for the exterior looked quite pale to me, so I decided to add another layer. But after that, we are painting the stone floor using the same color we used on the upper part. I wanted to make this look a bit autumnal, so let's paint some autumn trees behind. First, we have on the empty area behind the upper part, we are using light yellow for the base layer. We also want to create leaf textures on the edges to make it look natural. Then we are adding the second layer with a mix of yellow ochre and orange. I'm actually adding this while the base is still quite wet using a tapping motion. And the third layer using burnt sienna and a bit of red. Then we are also adding these behind the lantern side and very lightly on the remaining areas of the background as well as on the road side, but we are painting some little blobs here of orange for the fallen leaves. After that, we are just drawing some highlights and scribbles on the board using white sakura jelly roll and the top signage with Artisan Bakery written in cursive using brown paint. Then we are writing number 10 for the month of October using the fine liner tip of this brown Ohuhu brush pen. I think I wrote it a bit higher than the painting. It bothered me after because it doesn't look balanced, but it's okay, we gotta move on. I still love how the painting turned out anyway. Okay, now it's time to create the October calendar. I had this idea to use some of my Japanese packaging paper because it kind of resembles the parchment paper used for breads. I love the texture also, so if you have something like this, you can use that to recreate this layout, or even craft paper will do. I tried to crumple the paper to add more texture to it, but it didn't work once I glued it on the page. I also printed out some colored paper with different shades of yellow for breads and cut them into little boxes to form a calendar. And lastly, we are writing October in this simple sans serif font and the days and dates using the same pen. And that's pretty much it for this cover painting and monthly calendar. Let's move on right away to create my interactive habit tracker. We will need to skip another blank page for this and work on the next one. We are going to paint a wooden display rack on the left side of this spread with 6 shelves. We start by painting the shape of the crates with light burnt sienna, the whole rack using burnt sienna and light oxide, which create this reddish tone, and then the insides of the crates using burnt umber and sepia to add some more shadows and details. When the base layer is done, we can paint another layer using the same colors to darken them a bit. Then we are drawing these black rectangular shapes for the blackboard labels that we typically see in bakeries. This is where we're going to write our habits. Now for the interactive pieces, we are using a separate paper. I recommend using a vellum board because it has a nice quality that can handle watercolor and absorbs well. Or use one of the pages at the back of your notebook or any used bullet journal that has some blank pages left. So I tape this on a small cutting mat using a washi tape so I can easily work on it. You can also temporarily tape it on the page of your notebook. Then we are painting different kinds of breads. I did sketch them first to make sure they fit inside each crate by drawing borders around that match the measurement. If some overlap a bit, I think it's okay as long as they don't cover the habit titles. So there are so many kinds of breads, you can paint whatever you like. They don't need to look like a specific kind. There are so many pictures you can use as reference from Google, but I only chose some that are easy to paint. For each kind, you can paint 2 or more of them, and also making sure that they almost fit the crate or at least cover the mini trackers behind. We are using light yellow for the base colors, burnt sienna, and burnt umber for the additional layers. Once we are done with the painting, we need to cut out each of them and set aside for the meantime. Now let's put the cutting mat behind the page, cut the areas where we can insert the breads, and glue the back of it to the empty page next to it. Then we are drawing the mini trackers on each crate and write the habits on the black labels using our white gel pen. Alright, now we can insert the breads. If the cutouts kind of curl up or fall off, you can slightly add glue tape behind or something with low adhesive. Just a tiny bit that is enough to stick on the page and can be easily removed without causing any rip or damage. Okay, we are adding these black paper on top for our habits title and a smaller rectangular shape on the other side of the spread. We are also including my goals and focus page here, and we are simply writing the titles using our brown pen. Then we're adding these little round stickers from the Hubman and Chub Girl planner kit and some colored papers for each section. Now we are painting a yellowish brown frame around this black paper to make it look like a board. On it we are writing, "Give us today our daily bread," with an arrow pointing below, and we will be making another little interactive element here. We are using a small piece of this brown Japanese paper again to create a small bag. I also tried to crumple it again to see if it works this time. It somehow did, but very subtle. We are using another separate paper to paint 7 baguettes. I actually painted the first 6, so I'm just showing you how to paint one of them to save us some time. You can also paint more if you want. We are still using the same colors from the interactive bread pieces and cut them as well to be inserted inside our little paper bag. So I will be writing some scriptures on the back of each baguette later. This will be a nice reminder for each day to read God's Word, and I'll show the verses I wrote here in the flip through in the end. But for now, that is my interactive habit tracker, scriptures, goals, and focus spread. We are moving on again to the following pages to create my devotional spread. We are doing another painting, which is a large sourdough bread. It is the perfect illustration for this, and I chose something with a simple cross scoring. We start with a diluted yellow on the toasted areas and gradually add pigments of darker brown colors while the paint is still wet. Yes, I'm doing a wet on wet technique on this paper. I mentioned in my previous Plan With Me video that I tried doing this, just specifically on this notebook, and it works so far, but still be cautious and observe when it's time to leave the paint alone to dry before adding more. As you can see, we're also leaving some white spaces around the score. I am actually just referring to a sourdough image I saw online where there are whiter parts. So I paint what I see, and this can look different to other sourdoughs with the same score pattern you can find as reference. After that, we are also painting a gingham patterned cloth underneath using a mix of raw umber and olive green and layered it with a hint of orange. Then we're also adding this Japanese paper for decoration and carefully cut following the outlines of the painting using a smaller paper cutter. We are writing the devotion title here with the same style, and the plan I chose from the Bible app is called Parenting with Patience. You know, life here on earth still involves struggles, even as a Christian. As a parent of a toddler, it's definitely a challenge. And to be honest, I was struggling these past months since I'm solo parenting. But the good news is God sees my circumstance and always helps when I seek Him, and really just being honest with Him when I see myself getting impatient. He always, meet me where I'm at. And recently, something unforgettable just happened. Ever since He redirected me to a new church to be planted. It is called 5F Church, based in Los Angeles, California. They had an event here in our country called Revival is Now Philippines, and I watched the live stream. And I tell you, truly, I did not expect to encounter God through the screen on a different level like never before. I just asked Him to talk to me through the live, and I just increased my faith. I never thought He would want me to encounter Him in the physical. Man, He is so powerful. He delivered me in many things, including a burden in my marriage. The worst thing happened last year, and even if I already forgiven, there's still that burden left, that heaviness, and He delivered me from it through this ministry. I tell you, I was shaking so hard as if I'm having a seizure. I can tell you with all honesty, I put my reputation on the line. I don't care. This is worth sharing. And I didn't even feel any body pain afterwards. It's just like something was removed in me, and it felt so light. I was so overwhelmed. I just feel so much joy. I felt calmer. So why am I sharing this? One, because this is real, and if you're reading the Bible, you can tell he chose this specific time in history to do this. Second, I don't know if I still need this devotional plan this month. But I guess it will still serve as a reminder with his words in it, because you can imagine the things my toddler can do with only one parent to deal with it. But now I am able to keep my patience, unlike before the event. I was able to before, but now it's just easier. It's just easier to, keep myself composed. It's amazing. It's just astounding. So feel free to check out 5F and see what God is doing right now. I know He wants this for everybody, whether if you're already a believer or if you're just curious. I know He has something for everyone. Thank you, Jesus. Glory to God. Back to our setup, we used the stickers from the Hubman and Chop Girl planner kit to decorate the daily Dutch store pages of my devotional plan and my weeklies, as well as colored papers. Then we're gonna have large tabs here with different painted illustrations. So for the first tab, we are painting a pretzel. We did the same technique using the existing colors on our palette for the breads. The next tab is a painting of a bag of loaf bread. And our third tab is a croissant. After that, we cut out all the white spaces on each page, and it should look like this. Now I continued setting up the rest of the weekly spreads, and we have reached the final spread we are making, my monthly review pages, which I already started. I just glued the Japanese paper again on the entire spread, and also to the back side of the tabs. I already wrote the review title and glued some colored paper boxes with green color this time because I realized there's no more of it after the cover. On each box are open-ended questions like small wins, challenges, lessons learned, to improve, and grateful for. Then a black paper frame is also added around the title. The last thing we're doing here is to draw some more breads, just using this brown pen and white gel pen. I just finished watching the live stream at this point, and because I was so happy, I felt confident drawing these without sketching them first. You can see there's no pencil marks or anything. So we have a baguette, freshly baked writing, cinnamon roll, chocolate Danish, cinnamon sticks, and star anise. We are also drawing some sparkles on the spaces to make it look interesting and drop shadows on the boxes. Okay, that finally completes our bakery-themed October 2024 bullet journal setup. We have come to the end of this video, so let's do a quick flip through of all the pages we made together. I really hope you enjoyed this plan with me video and inspired you with some new layouts and paintings. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and please leave a like, and let's stay connected by subscribing to this channel if you want to see more art and bullet journaling videos from me. Thank you so much for your time watching. Take care and have the loveliest time this October. Bye everyone! Love you all!